What is up, folks? It is Jay the Green. Welcome back to yet another Jay Talks podcast. And yes, I am by myself. It is a lovely Thursday afternoon. We are in the midst of one hell of an election cycle, election time period. But I'm going to get into that later on. But I hope you guys are doing well. We are in what I would like to think post-COVID. I know some places are returning to quarantine, states. But I hope all y'all are doing well, swell, and doing good. I'd like to thank you all for the support and love that you guys have shown on, some of my past videos, my podcast, and specifically my live reaction videos. If this is your first time watching one of my podcasts, feel free to check out the other ones, the other 17 episodes I've done with guests also. But yeah, I love you all. There's quite a bit to talk about today. A lot of sports, a lot of obviously political topics. I'm not going to get too biased in this one. I need to stop that habit because at the end of the day, no one wins. I'm just going to give my thought on the facts. But before I begin the topics, I'd like to thank all the guests that have come on. I appreciate every single one of you. You've all done a splendid job. You all were great guests, and a part of the reason why I do some of these alone is to further improve my abilities as a host and as an unbiased third party. Obviously I'm going to have to be biased when I am debating a guest, but when I'm not debating, I like to be an unbiased third party. I like to hear people's point of views, no matter what they are, whether I agree or I don't agree, So that's why I'd like to do this alone, to kind of just give my I'm here with you guys. I'm not really alone, but I'm saying, I'm talking here, but I'm with you guys. But like I said, thank you to all the guests. But let's get straight to it, man. We got a lot of sport topics, mostly combat sports, actually. But let's start with the NBA, all right? This one's going to be quick and to the point, but, as we all know, the NBA season is over. And there could be a possible season start around Christmas time. From what I've read, I believe a lot of players don't want to start around that time, obviously because of the holidays, and especially the people that played in the bubble, that just finished the season in September, I believe, or August, September time, or October. I'm not even sure. I should look that up. But I'm sure they're not super happy to start right away again. It's not right away. It's a few months, but you know what I mean. But that's news. I'm sure all of us NBA fans want to see it, but I would not mind them starting maybe February, late January, February, after all the holidays are done with. And after COVID, updates on COVID are further given. But as far as the trade world, the trade market in the NBA, all right. Now, I only got two pieces of news. First one being Rajon Rondo. All right. Rajon, according to Kendrick Perkins, who is an established NBA veteran, retired, he says he could go to the Clippers. Apparently the Lakers and the Clippers both want him. They both got, the assets to acquire him. Now it's it's depending on who's willing to give more money. But furthermore, if Rajon were to go to the Clippers, there's a possibility that either Chris Paul or Derrick Rose goes there from the Pistons. I would rather personally have Chris Paul. I am a Lakers fan. I'd rather have him over all three of them out of the three: Rajon, Chris, and Derrick. But Rajon did really good for us in the playoffs. He was the third most important piece after LeBron and AD, of course. He was very consistent, very reliable. When they would put him in, he'd do what he had to do. He'd go 9-5-5. He'd go 10-6-4, whatever he had to do, he did. So that's a guy that I hope we can keep. But if we don't, by all means, bring in Chris. Or if you can't, bring in Derrick. Hopefully, one of those three is there. Especially Chris. If Chris goes there, they're even better than they were last year. But as far as the NBA, it's going to be interesting. We're going to have the return of KD and Kyrie in Brooklyn. They're a real threat. They're going to be a real threat. I think they win the East. I don't see anyone really threatening them if they're at their prime, and if they're at their optimal versions of themselves. If Kyrie and KD, especially KD with that Achilles injury, I believe, or was it a ACL? One of the two, which either one is can be very detrimental to your ability to play basketball. I mean, I believe it's Achilles, just like Kobe did. RIP to Kobe. He had the same injury, and he was never the same, really. Never the same. KD's a little different. He relies more on skill and his size, his length, more specifically, to make a high percentage of shots, especially that jump shot he has. It's unstoppable. He's 7 foot and he could shoot like Reggie Miller or some shit. He's spectacular. I don't think it's going to hurt him too much. Definitely not to the point it hurt Kobe. The Achilles injury, I mean. And I think Brooklyn will win the East. Like I said, I don't see any real threats down there. And the Clippers, I don't see him getting any better. Paul George, like I said before, I'm not sure if I've said on the podcast, he's a disappointment in the playoffs. I'm just checking something real quick, seeing if anything has been updated so I can update you guys right now. I don't think so. Nothing has been updated. Checking on Rajon. Nope, nothing. But like I said, I think Brooklyn wins the East. Lakers win the West. Whether they have Rajon, Derek, or Chris, especially if they have Chris, they're going to be a real threat. But yeah, that's the NBA. Another piece of news is Drew Holiday, possibly going to the Warriors. He's a decent guard. He averaged 19 points last season. He'd add more, firepower to the Golden State Warriors. Golden State is another team to look out for. Obviously Clay is returning from a awful knee injury. Curry, had his bumps and bruises along the road last season, and obviously they don't have KD. He's in Brooklyn, so if they're even 90% of what they were, and they get maybe Drew and some important pieces, they could be a real threat in the West, even to the Lakers and Clippers. That's something to look out for. That's just more fuel to the fire for them. But yeah, that's the NBA. Like I said, it's quick and to the point. There's nothing really much to go off. Now, the next topic here, the UFC. Now, here's a topic, very heavy topic here. So first, Israel Adesanya apparently was going to face Jan Blachowicz, and it's basically set in stone. I mean, it's not like being advertised yet, but according to both Blachowicz and Adesanya, who were both, I believe, on Ariel Helwani's show, I believe they both were, said that it's basically a done deal. According to Jan, he'd like to fight Israel sometime in March. That's a very, very interesting matchup. And obviously the biggest question is, how will Israel do at light heavyweight? Will his power translate? Will his strength suffice? His physical strength, I mean, will it suffice? Because he has the skills. He's going to be a fast guy. He's a lean guy. The quickness, the sophistication will be there. Sophistication of his striking, I mean. He's the best, I think, pure striker in the division. And in the UFC, in the entire UFC. But obviously, Jan Blachowicz is a big guy, powerful guy. Doesn't really back down. Now, if we were to compare his size to Paula's a big dude. Jan is a little taller, a little longer, and possibly has more power in his shots than Paula, excuse me. And this is gonna be an interesting matchup. Israel's ready. I think he wins. I think he beats Jan. I don't think Jan he's not sophisticated enough. He's gonna be in for a rude awakening when he faces him. He'll see the differences between Dominic and Israel real very swiftly as soon as he's in there. But yeah, we're gonna have to see the answer to our question. How will he do at light heavyweight? I believe he'll do just fine. I think he has, the size. I believe he will be on the smaller side, maybe. I believe he walks around 213 max, around there. So he might not have to cut any weight, maybe very little, maybe no more than 10 pounds. I'd be surprised if he has to cut more than that. But according to Israel, he could even go up to heavyweight and win the belt there and be successful. When it comes to that, I'm a little more skeptical, you know, because Israel's not the biggest guy, you know. He'd have to definitely put on weight to face the bigger heavyweights, you know, in the UFC, like a Curtis Blades, a Francis Ngannou, you know, the bigger dudes. He'll have a problem once he faces guys that size who could really, you know, who really have some size and some, you know, strength on them. And the question is, how much will putting size impact his striking ability? You know, his ability to lean back, his ability to easily throw question mark kicks to the head. Will that be impacted in a negative way? You know, that's the question. I do think Israel can put on size. I mean, with the right training program, you know, the right eating, the right diet, he can. He can't put on the weight. But will it affect him? You know, affect his style, affect his success rate when it comes to striking? I guess we'll find out. First things first, we got to see how he does a light heavyweight. You know, people like Israel are successful because they dream big. They have big goals. And up to this point, he's accomplished those goals. You know, destroying Acosta, you know, destroying Whitaker, and really establishing himself as the best middleweight on the planet in the UFC was because of his ambition and his drive. But that's a big fight right there. I'm very intrigued by this matchup. Very intrigued by Israel going up to light heavyweight. We're gonna have to see. I can't wait. You know, but that's that topic. Now this one has several subtopics. Conor McGregor. All right, we know he's fighting Dustin Poirier. It's basically a done deal. I think I talked about that on the last podcast with with the guests. I don't know if I did or not. But I'm gonna talk about it here again. If I already did talk about it before. Conor McGregor is gonna be facing Dustin for the second time. He did, you know, beat Dustin handily the first time, which was 6 years ago. I think it's safe to say they're completely different fighters from then. Both are definitely better. Dustin is definitely better. And they're at 155. They both don't have to deal with that weight cut, you know, as drastic of a weight cut as they had to deal with when they were at featherweight, because that fight was at featherweight, the first one. Dustin has looked, you know, world class in his last few bouts. He lost to obviously Khabib, and pretty handedly fashioned. You know, Khabib got him. He did have Khabib in a chokehold for like a temporary period of time, but it wasn't really a problem for Khabib. He didn't panic at all. He got out and he got the choke. As far as Conor, we haven't seen much to go off of since 2016. He fought Floyd. He got, you know, handled by Khabib, and then he fought Cowboy, which was 40 seconds. So we don't know. We do know that Conor obviously looked good against Cowboy. He destroyed him, you know, with the shoulder strikes and the menacing power that he possesses still, and you know that the menacing power he displayed in that fight. He destroyed Cowboy, who I thought was just a deer in headlights, to be honest. Not an excuse, but I'm just saying. This is an interesting matchup. You know, it's basically a done deal. Dana said it's done, it's signed. I did see a tweet from Dustin saying telling Conor to sign or something. I'm pretty sure it's a done deal, though. Let's pray to God it is. As far as who wins this matchup, it's hard to say because, like I said, we don't know how Conor has looked in these last couple of years. The best template or, you know, thing that we have to go off of is a Khabib fight, but Khabib's beating everybody, so we can't really go off that. The Cowboy fight was 40 seconds. The Floyd fight was boxing. There's some questions that can't be answered right now. What we can't say is Conor does have the power. Probably more power than Dustin, safe to say. But Dustin's striking ability and his sophistication has definitely increased over the years. That's going to be very interesting to see. It's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a war. It's going to be a striking war. It's going to be, on the feet, and they're going to go at it. I think Dustin has something to prove here. With Khabib retiring, the belt is up for grabs. I don't believe this fight will be a title fight. It could possibly be. They could change it. And personally, I wouldn't think that's fair because Conor hasn't fought in years. It would be fair for Dustin. He's definitely deserving. But I believe that wouldn't be fair, to Tony, to Justin. Guys who've been there, done that, beating the best of the best, and they get screwed over just because Conor's a bigger name. So I'm kind of hoping it's not a title fight. And if it is, I hope Dustin wins. Listen, do I like Conor McGregor? I respect him. He's the best businessman to ever do business in the UFC as a fighter. But obviously, because of his popularity, he gets unfair treatment. He gets title shots he doesn't deserve, things he doesn't deserve. I'm just being honest here. Dustin deserves it way more than Conor does. I'd say if Conor beats Dustin, then sure, give him a title shot after that. That's what I would say. Maybe Justin could fight Tony for the title. Tony's been in 5 matches that were supposed to happen against Khabib, and they all got canceled because of something, whether it's injury, weight cut, whatever the hell, COVID. That fight was cursed. I think Tony deserves a shot against Justin once again. And I think the winner of that, if they don't want to do a title fight there, I'd say the winner of Tony and Justin should fight the winner of Conor and Dustin, and that should be the title fight. That's fair to me. But we'll see what will happen there. We'll see what will happen. I'm very excited. I do admit, every time Conor fights, I watch, man. That guy's magic in there. You can't take that away from him. He's magic inside and outside that octagon. He has a magic that I've seen maybe once or twice in ever. Floyd had it. Muhammad Ali had it. Mike Tyson had it. Rare. He's a rare breed, and he's a monster. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's a bad fighter. He's world class at his best. Obviously he has his weaknesses like everybody else. He's bad cardio. Not the best ground game, but decent. He did decent against Khabib. I'll tell you this: he did better against Khabib than Justin did. I thought Justin might have took the first round, maybe, against Khabib, and I thought Conor took the third round against Khabib. So those could be the only 2 rounds that Khabib ever lost. That, Conor won one of those rounds, in my opinion. But yeah, that's that. And this is, furthermore, Conor. Conor suggests that Khabib retired knowing Conor had the answer for him, and says he'd be willing to do a Diaz trilogy fight in the future. Let's talk about the first part I just said. Conor saying that Khabib is scared or something. I believe if they were to fight 10 times, Khabib would win every time. This version of Khabib in his prime. He'd beat Conor every time. Now, is it impossible for Conor to win? Obviously not. He could catch Khabib. He has that magical right piston, But I just don't see him being able to escape the onslaught that is Khabib. Habib, sorry, I should say his name correctly because I've been hearing him say it the correct way. Habib Nurmagomedov. I don't think he can escape that onslaught. No man has. But Conor did a good job. He did a decent job, especially in the first round. He defended a couple of takedowns. Khabib just drives his way in there. He drove his way in, and that was all she wrote. Beat him down. Conor gave a great effort. What I don't like is Conor breaking down these rounds, acting like it was super close, because it wasn't. It was not close. He won the third. I give him that one. But every other round he lost handedly, honestly. Like I said, I'm not a Conor hater. The guy's a monster, world class. But it's just facts, man. You can't talk shit when you lose handedly and you get finished. You can't talk shit, man. That's just reality. Win against Dustin and win another belt, and maybe start talking shit to Khabib. Maybe you'll convince him to get out of retirement. I personally don't think Khabib will come out. I think he's a man of his word. I think the only thing that might get him out of bed in the morning would be GSP, and I don't see GSP very eager now. So that's my take on that. Now, as far as the trilogy fight with Diaz, hell yeah, let's do it, man. Um, Diaz is one of the worst matchups for Conor because his cardio and his unrelenting pressure. You know, the first time he beat Conor, he just overwhelmed Conor. Got it, and then Conor made a mistake, maybe because of because of the fatigue. He wasn't thinking 100% straight. He went for a takedown, I believe, and he got choked out. That's the worst place to be with Diaz if you're Conor. You know, Diaz is a legitimate jiu-jitsu practitioner, you know, and he got Conor and choked him out. I think in the second one he did better. You know, he sharpened his sword, and it was still tough because Diaz just doesn't go away. He didn't go away, and Conor, you know, despite his power being decent, Diaz still wouldn't go away. He was taking those shots. You know, Diaz is the bigger man out of the two, so he took the shots well and hung in there in a very close decision. You know, very close fight that went to decision. I'd like to see it again. You know, I wouldn't mind. I think Conor wins this one also. If they fight at 170, I think it won't be easy for Conor. Could Diaz win? Yeah. Now let me get something straight. Diaz is not like a top 10 contender, top 5 contender. He's just a very fucking tough guy. What Jorge Masvidal did to him was very impressive. He just beat the shit out of him. I think Jorge has more power than Conor. And I also think he's because he's the bigger man also. I think he just has more, you know, oomph on his punches. I've never seen Diaz get beat like that. But like what I was saying, I'd like to see it. Be an interesting matchup. I'd definitely pay to see it. Next piece of news here. Tony Ferguson makes fun of Khabib's tough weight cut to UFC 254. Now, the reason I put this in here, it's not like a big piece of news like holy shit, is because it seems to me that people are poking at Khabib, trying to get him out of retirement. Conor and now Tony. Maybe they just want, you know, he's the king, the lion of the jungle right now. He's the king of the throne. He retired with it being universally claimed that no lightweight can beat him right now. You know, and all these lightweight top contenders want to prove that, you know, that claim wrong. And they're all calling him out of his name. Conor, Tony directly. They want a piece of him. And that's up to Khabib to respond. He doesn't have to respond. You know, he beat Conor. He beat Justin, who beat the shit out of Tony. So it's up to him, really. But yeah, it's up to Khabib. Whether he does it or not, I still think he's the best lightweight to ever do it. You know. But yeah, that's just something that's very interesting to me. And now, last piece of news in this UFC segment: Anderson Silva. His final fight, he gets TKO'd in the 4th versus Uriah Hall. Dana White says he won't allow Silva to fight anymore, and that they made a deal beforehand, saying so. Now, I believe Silva has lost 6 of his last 7. You know, it's sad. Anderson at his prime was arguably the best to ever do it, and some people even say he's the best to ever do it. I don't think so. I think he's definitely top 4, top 5 for sure, no doubt. But because of all the losses he's taken over the years, he's just not in the discussion anymore, in my opinion, as the best to ever do it. He's definitely one of the GOATs, though. That's no discussion. He's up there with Khabib, GSP. He's up there with them. Deservedly so, man. He was so dominant, so magical, so special in his prime. So special. Guy was a monster. Now, I think he should be done. According to Dana, Anderson was a little iffy about retiring even after he lost and had that deal with Dana. I hope he just finishes. Don't even... In the UFC, I think he's done. Dana said he's not going to allow it. But I hope Anderson doesn't go to like Bellator or some shit like Chuck Liddell did and get his ass knocked out 3 times in a row like Chuck did. Really hope I don't see that. I love Anderson. I love Chuck. I hate to see that shit, man. You're a legend. You establish yourself on Mount Rushmore. Let's call it quits, man. I hear he has schools in different parts of the country and different parts of Brazil. He's doing just fine for himself. He has other businesses. He's not, short on money, anything like that. He's doing just fine. He will do just fine. But yeah, that's the UFC news, guys. UFC news. Always interesting to see what's going on. Amazing matches coming soon. I can't wait. Connor, Israel, and Johnny Bones. I haven't heard anything from Johnny, but hopefully Johnny, goes a heavyweight soon. Fights, Stipe or Francis or something after they fight for the belt, because Francis definitely deserves it. But moving on, the NFL. All right, Week 9 recap. Let's go ahead and check this out. Let me click on the link real quick. Week 9 recap. Let's look at the standings real quick. All right. So here we got the AFC East. Bills 6-2. Dolphins 4-3. Surprisingly so, with decent offense, I might say, and decent defense. Very impressive for the Dolphins. Patriots. Bill Belichick's Patriots 2-5. Cam Newton, has done okay, but has not met the bar to win these games that have been close. A couple games that are very close, and now they're third in the division. AFC West, Chiefs have handedly dominated that division, 7-1. They're doing very well. I think their only loss was to the Raiders, but the Raiders are 4-3 now. Broncos and Chargers are just no. Best team in the league is in the AFC North. Excuse me. The Steelers are 7-0. Very good offense. I believe they have the number one scoring offense. Actually, never mind. The Chiefs do. They have the number 2 scoring offense, I believe. Yes, and a very decent defense. They've been very good. They've won the close ones, and I think that Steelers defense specifically is fucking hellacious. They're very tough. They'll just overwhelm a quarterback. Ravens 5-2. I have something to say about Lamar Jackson in a bit. AFC South, Titans 5-2, Colts 5-2. Hey Rivers, good job, good for you, man. Good for Rivers, doing all right down there. Now let me talk about, like I said, Lamar Jackson for a second here. Lamar Jackson and his trials in big games. All right, so I have a article here. Let's check it out. He is 0-6, I believe, in the big games, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check this to confirm. In the biggest games, 2 losses in the playoffs, 3 to Kansas City, and obviously recently lost to Pittsburgh. The guy just seems to force it too much. He tries to make the big play, tries to be the highlight reel of the team. That doesn't win you championships. The guy is a spectacular athlete, very good quarterback, very accurate quarterback at his best. But he just needs to learn how to calm down. Maybe because he's young. I'm pretty sure he'll grow out of it. He'll mature as a quarterback and, become more calm and collected and calculated. Because you have to be calculated in these big games and these close games when the other offense could score at any moment's notice, just like yours. I believe he'll come out of it, But specifically, he's 0-3 against Mahomes, And years from now, if this continues, Mahomes will be the Brady to Lamar's Manning. He'll be the dominant one, even more so than Brady was to Manning, because Manning got a few of them against, a few wins, especially when he was in Denver against Brady in those, conference championship games. So we have to wait and see. I love Lamar. I think he's spectacular, But let's check this out real quick. I'm trying to see the games where he lost. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. That should be ready beforehand. Like I said, I do these by myself to further, improve. I'm trying to see. Okay, his statistics this season are down. Completion percentage is down. His QBR is down. He had a league high last year, 82.3. he just seems to, you know, kind of fade away, and he's too focused on making the big play. He has to learn how to calm down and make, you know, gradual damage to the other team. Gradual, not just big impact plays. These 60-yard runs and shit like that. He has to learn how to relax and how to let the game come to him. Be calculated. I think that's his biggest problem. I think that's why he's lost these big games, because some of these have been pretty close. Some of these have been pretty close. But let's look at the games here. I want to see the Ravens games this season. Okay. So let's see. He destroyed the Browns, destroyed the Texans, lost to the Ravens in a close one. Now let's see his stats in that one. Let's look at this season. Okay, Patrick killed it. All right. Lamar was 15 for 28 for 97 yards, 1 touchdown. Okay. Now he rushed for 83 yards. So his completion rating was low. And his rushing, I'm sure he rushed a lot to get out of those situations. Like I said, he needs to relax. He needs to relax in those situations. He beat the Bengals, beat the Eagles in a close game. I give him credit for that one. And then he lost to the Ravens. To the Steelers. Let's see his stats here. 13 for 28, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. All right. Stop forcing stuff. Lamar, you'll do just fine. You got the talent. You got the intellect. You'll do just fine, all right? But that's that. Now I want to talk about the NFL rookie QBs, because as we know, Tua in Miami has started. I think they benched Fitzpatrick, something like that. Now I want to compare their stats. I know we can't really compare Tua's because he only played 1 game. But let's compare the stats here. Now Joe Burrow, I think, is doing okay. Statistics-wise, I think his team is like abysmal as far as like record. Let me see their record just for clarification here. They are 1-3-1. I don't know, man. That's old. That's old. Let me go to now. Okay, the Bengals are 2-5 or 2-5. But as far as his stats, which stats aren't everything, but he's 3rd in passing yards. His touchdown to interception ratio is 11-5, and he has a 91.4 rate. Not QBR, but the other kind of rating, whatever it's called. I think he's done all right. He's done all right. I think he's been the best in this class so far. He's a 67% completion rating. That's very decent, especially for a rookie. Now let's look for Justin Herbert. I'm trying to look for Justin Herbert real quick. Where's Justin? I saw him earlier. He has 1,820 yards. Also 67% completion rating. 15-5 touchdown to interception ratio. And 105.5 rating. So it's actually, to be fair, it's close between Burrow and Herbert. They're both very good. I think they're going to both improve and be winning quarterbacks eventually. I do think so, especially Herbert. I think Herbert just doesn't shy away. He fights. Even though he has lost most of his games this season, he fights. Now, studying Tua, he's only played, I believe, only 1 game, if I'm not mistaken here. Where is Tua? 102. He went 14 for 24 and had 1 touchdown. All right. He played okay. That was only first game. I'm sure he has to get in the flow of things. But my point is with this, I think all the rookies here are so far, the future. I think they're all right. I really do think they're all right. Herbert, I think, I did say Burrow, but looking at these stats, I think I'm changing my mind. Herbert has very impressed me, man. I know he's lost these games, but he's done very well. He's been right there with some of the best teams. And actually, speaking of the Chargers, let's go ahead and look at these games that they've lost. All right. So, some pretty close games here, if I do say so myself. Beat the Bengals. All right, that was a battle. I believe he wasn't even playing in that game. It was Tyrod. Yes, it was Tyrod. They beat the. I think the first game he started was against the Chiefs. That impressed me. He went 22 for 33 for 311 and one touchdown, and actually outthrew um, Mahomes. It was very impressive. Very impressive display there. That impressed me. And then he lost to the Panthers. I mean, the Panthers have been like quietly a decent team. Teddy Bridgewater has been doing pretty decent. He lost to the Bucks. I mean, they have Brady. They're 5-2, one of the best teams in the league. They lost to the Chargers. I believe the Saints are up there as one of the best teams. Let me see. Where are the Saints at here? Where are the Saints? Saints. How am I not seeing them? Oh, because I'm not in the NFC. Sorry. The Saints are 5-2, so they're a decent team. I'll go back to the Chargers. Sorry. So they lost to the Saints, right? Where was I? In a close game again. Another close game, only 30-27, and overtime. So he was in that, man. He was in that game. Let's see how he did here. 20 for 34, 264 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. All right. So I think all his points were by Herbert's hand. Drew Brees, they have a pretty good rushing game down there in New Orleans. So that game, they beat the Jaguars, and then they lost 1 point to the Broncos. I heard that game was very upsetting for a lot of Chargers fans. Herbert did have 2 interceptions, and it was a very close game that was disappointing. But the point is, Herbert is there, man. He fights. He seems to be very calm and collected, even in losing situations. So I'm very impressed by him. I'm very impressed by all of them. But that's my point, is that I think they're going to be decent. Now, there's one guy I want to talk about now. This guy is just killing the game right now. DK Metcalf. All right. Let's go ahead and check his stats real quick, because I'm actually pretty sorry, I'm trying to do it at the same time. Pretty impressed with him, man. I know he had a 160-yard game, I think, last week, I believe. And he's been very impressive. So let's go ahead and look at... I'm pretty sure he's a top receiver right now, like as far as yards. Let's go ahead and see receiving. Okay. So DeAndre leads the league in receiving yards, I believe. I'm trying to look for DK Metcalf. Where are you, DK? All right. He has 36 catches. And he has 680 yards. I believe that makes him second in the league. Or, like top 10 or something like that in yards. Despite having like 20 less catches than DeAndre. This guy is huge, monster, freak athlete, but runs like a fucking, like a 5'10" guy runs a 4.2. This guy's a monster, man. It's insane. This guy is something else. He's just very impressive, man. I think he's gonna be better and better as every year goes on until he reaches his prime. He's gonna get better. There's a little bit of Calvin in him when it comes to just his size and his dominance. Some of those touchdowns that he has is just from pure strength and physical talent. It's pretty spectacular to see. Russell has a real target now to throw to, Russell Wilson, and I feel like this guy's gonna be a top 5, top 10, top 5 receiver soon. He's a monster. He might already be a top 10 receiver. He's just a freak of nature, man. I just really want to talk about him. And then the comparisons, I've heard some comparisons to Calvin Johnson. Now, is he a Calvin? I don't think so. I think Calvin might even be faster than DK. I don't know. He might even be faster. He's definitely a little bit bigger and might have better hands. That could change because DK is still young. But I think right now, Calvin in his prime is still better. And he was more of a threat to defenses. People had like triple, quadruple cover his ass just to stop him. And he still catches sometimes, despite having a horrible team. In Detroit, which is probably one of the reasons he retired, kind of like Barry Sanders. But yeah, this guy's something. I can't wait to see what he becomes. But yeah, guys, that's my NFL news. It's looking very exciting. My favorite team is personally the Browns, because my favorite players there, who unfortunately got an ACL tear, Odell Beckham. My second favorite team, and I know I'm not a fucking bandwagon, is the Steelers. It was number one when AB was still not a, was still there and he wasn't known as an asshole. They're doing well, so I'm happy for them. And yeah, I know that my two favorite teams are in the same fucking division, but I'm happy for either one winning a Super Bowl. I mean, do the Steelers have a shot? I don't think. Yeah, but I don't think they win the Super Bowl. I don't think the Browns do either. But yeah, I'm just being realistic. But yeah, that's my NFL topics. Now on to the next topic, which usually doesn't have many topics, but doesn't really have many subtopics, but does today. Boxing. All right. Now this is a pretty important piece of news here. Teofimo Lopez, I think that's how you say his name, beats Lomachenko. All right. He beats him. I think he becomes the youngest guy or something like that to unify the belts at that weight division. But this is something that I've seen pretty often, was the judging criticisms. So a lot of people thought he beat Lomachenko, but they don't think he beat him as dominantly as the scorecards suggest. So the scorecards were 116 to 112, 119 to 109, and 117 to 111. All right. Rampage Jackson says, "I want to see a rematch." Let's see. Kenny Florian, Lopez won, but the judges' scorecards were whack. Alan Joban, don't know who that is, but he says, "Tremendous fight by Lopez, but scoring card was comical." Kevin Gastelum, they were tied up going to the last round. I got Lopez winning the last round and winning the fight. Beck Rawlings, I feel like the scorecards were a bit far-fetched, but I had it a draw. Belal Muhammad, 119 to 110, is the dumbest judge in the world. But, point being, a lot of people thought it was very close. I think almost everyone thought that Lopez won, so that's the correct decision. I didn't see the fight personally, but I think I will watch it just to see myself. But there's a couple people that thought it was a draw or gave it to Loma. But majority I've seen thinks Lopez won. I saw some highlights. It looks like he had the right game plan for Lomachenko. And I heard this guy was an established pro that's done a lot in the sport already, even before facing Lomachenko. But very impressive stuff. Congratulations to Lopez, man. He beat a guy that was arguably number one pound for pound, number two pound for pound, right there. He beat him. Now he's the champ. He's the unified champ, I believe. And it's a very impressive thing to see. I didn't really know who he was, to be fair, but I obviously a lot of us thought Lomachenko was going to win just because of what he is, and what he's been for the last couple of years. Now, I want to see if he's a unified champ here. Okay, so he unified the WBA, the IBF, WBO, the ring, and the lineal lightweight titles. So I believe he has all the belts. And very impressive stuff. Now, moving on from that topic, once again, shout out to him, monster. Gervonta Davis, I just yawned. KOs Leo Santa Cruz in 6th round with a vicious uppercut that I saw. It was beautifully placed. And I believe that Cruz threw a jab, and Davis made it look like he was shifting to his left, and then comes up with a nasty uppercut. It just takes him out. Now, to be fair, I was looking at the scorecards for this one as well, and it was a very close fight before the 6th round. It was like almost dead even. So this is the scorecard here. This is only one scorecard. It had it 48-47 for Davis going into the 6th. So Davis won 3 of those rounds. Santa Cruz won 2. And I think just one of the judges, I believe, going into this fight here. So it was very, very close, point being. And Davis had a trump card, his power. Definitely had more power than Cruz. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Cruz dropped Davis in the first. You know, call me out if I'm wrong. Call me out if I'm wrong. But so it was a close fight. Cruz is a good boxer, but Davis has very good decision making, very good power. He has a very good combination of speed and power, and he's only getting better under Floyd. You know, he seems to be the future of Mayweather Promotions. He seems to be what Broner failed to be, and that's a world champion. A very good one. Broner was the man before that until he got his ass whooped by Maidana badly, and humiliated. And ever since then, he's been kind of a joke. Broner is good, don't get me wrong, but he failed to live up to expectations. But Gervonta Davis, hell of a fighter, man. Now this is another piece of news connected to this. Ryan Garcia calls out Tank Davis and says, "Don't run away after he beats Luke Campbell." Now let me get something straight. Ryan Garcia, I like the guy, but he gets destroyed by Davis right now, man. I'm sorry. He has the goods. He can reach that level. I do think so, but he's not there. Great power, great speed. I just don't think he can keep up. I think Davis would probably knock his ass out. He'd probably knock his ass out. I think Davis should probably fight Lopez or maybe Lomachenko or something. He's at that level. He's that good. I still think Lopez or Lomachenko probably beat Davis right now. I think they're a little bit above him as far as sophistication, sophistication of box. As far as boxer, like pure boxing stance, they're a little more sophisticated. But I think Davis in a couple of years could be a real threat to Lopez or Lomachenko. Garcia has a ways to go. He has to fight some more legitimate guys. Show that he has this skill, because he just takes out these guys like nothing. And that's not a bad thing. It just shows he has fucking power, But does he have the goods to adapt to a tough opponent? A guy that could, avoid his power and box with him, make him box. We'll have to wait and see. Luke Campbell, I think, probably the toughest guy that I believe Garcia has faced in his career. I believe so. I could be mistaken. About that. But moving on. Alexander, I think that's how you say his name. Alexander Usyk. Excuse me if I'm saying his name wrong. Versus Derek Chisora. He gets the victory. I believe that's his first or second win at heavyweight. And it was a pretty, it was competitive. But Usyk, however you say his name, I'm just gonna call him Oleg. How about that? Short. Is a monster. It was 116 to 112. Okay, so these are the judges' scores: 117 to 111, 115 to 113, and 115 to 113. So it was a pretty close fight. I heard it was competitive. I heard Usyk was tested, and he rose up to the occasion. I didn't watch this fight either. I'm sorry, guys. I need to watch more fights, boxing fights. Just haven't had the time lately. But I heard it was competitive, and Chisora is a legitimate heavyweight. He's legitimate. So the question is, can he eventually get to that stage where he's, Fury Joshua competition, like a Fury fight, a Joshua fight, a Wilder fight? Maybe, man. Win one more fight against someone like Derek. He's right there. This guy's a monster. He's a monster. Freak of nature. But yeah, I just want to talk about that. I just think that's very interesting and very intrigues me what he could become. Could he be the next champ? Could he beat Fury? I don't know about Fury. Fury is the very best in the sport as far as heavyweights. But we'll have to wait and see. I think he's very, very promising. Very promising. Now, the last piece of news in the boxing segment here. Deontay Wilder rejects Mayweather. The help that he offered. He rejects his help and has more excuses for why he lost to Fury. So these are the excuses I've heard of. The attire he wore walking in was too heavy. It was 40 pounds. It made his legs weak. Fury didn't have his glove fully on, saying that the knuckle was too exposed or some shit like that. And then the other one was there's another one he had um, that he couldn't. I forgot. It was another this outlandish excuse. The point being here is Wilder needs to stop having yes men around him because he fired, I believe, is Mark Breland, the guy that threw in the towel. You fired him. That's not okay, man. It seems to me you want yes men around you, and Floyd is no yes man. He'll tell you how it is. That's probably why he said no. He said that it's fake love and no thank you. Really, dude? Fake love? Floyd loved this sport. Floyd loves this sport, man. Why would he be faking this shit? Why would he be faking this? He seems to be like he wants yes men around him. He wants people to praise him. He doesn't really accept criticism really well, and that's what's gonna hurt him. That's why he won't beat Fury. I love Wilder, man. He has probably the best right hand I've ever seen in my life. Amazing power with that right hand. It's like getting hit with a fucking brick to the head at high impact. That's what his fucking right hand is. But he needs to learn how to take criticism. He needs to learn how to box more sophisticated, and in a more sophisticated manner because he won't be Fury, man. Fury has your number, dude. He has your number. He knows how to neutralize your greatest weapon, which is your right hand. He should have taken the help. He shouldn't have fired Mark. He needs to change the way he's doing things if he ever wants to be the man again. He has to, or he will never be a champ again. Honestly, as long as Fury's there, in my opinion, he never will be. I love Wilder, man. I hope he changes it. I hope we have another American heavyweight champion. That's all I have to say. I hope he makes the proper adjustments. To me, it sounds like excuses, not wanting to, take the criticism. That's what I see and what I feel like he's doing. But moving on, that is the sports topics. We are 52 minutes in and 12 seconds and counting. So I will put that as a timestamp so everyone who watched at the beginning will know when to skip if they don't want to watch the sports part. Obviously, there's a hell of a current event happening as we speak. The presidential elections, man. All right? There's certain things to talk about right now. Now, to give you an update, and this is live as far right now, let's check it out. I want to see here. Now, there's certain different, websites giving different things. But if I go to the most reliable, which I think is probably like Facebook or Instagram, the electoral votes as far as right now. Let's see. Let's see, latest election updates. Come on, load. I don't know what's going on. It was like 243 to 214, something like that. Okay, here we go. Now I think I can click here. What is going on? Okay. 253 to 214. That's what it is right now. Biden has 253. Trump has 214. Now, the only states left: Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, and Alaska. All right. Now, here we are, state by state. Oh, Nevada, Biden's in the lead, right? If he wins that, he probably will win the election. Now, the one that a lot of people are upset about, North Carolina, according to them, they're not going to have the final vote count until next week, according to North Carolina. Now, I don't want to get too biased here, but I'm going to call out things that I think are like weird, all right? So what's weird to me is voting irregularities. I think no matter what side you're on, and obviously I guess it's easier to ignore them when you're on Biden's side here, is how votes just increase for Biden and not at all for Trump. I'm just telling what I see here. Okay. I see, and I know mail-in ballots, but you're telling me that some points that I would see the votes go up for Biden in the thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and Trump gets none. That's just kind of bizarre to me. Now I'm not gonna say like, oh, it's fake, it's rigged. I'm not one of those people. I try to be, fair here. Um, to be fair, I think a big reason why Biden's winning is the youth vote, and that's real. I think a lot of young people made it an emphasis, emphasized to vote, and that's a big reason why Biden, is close in these states like Wisconsin and Michigan and Georgia. Like the reason why he's so close in these votes is because of the youth. Um, Now we live in a democracy, and whether no matter what side I'm on, I'm happy that the youth is involved. I am happy about that. We're the next generation, in the next 16 to 20 years, we'll be the middle aged people, and so it's satisfying to see that. It doesn't matter what side I'm on. I'm happy to see that. Um, but it's razor thin in those states right now. Razor thin, razor thin right now. Um, and Trump is just hanging on by a thread in Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, um, and Alaska. He's gonna win. I mean, that one's whatever, right? It's only 3 points. Nevada, 6. It looks like Biden might win. Arizona, according to some people, isn't done. I don't know if that's true. I believe it is. I don't know. I don't know. I've seen some sources saying Biden's already won. Some sources saying that Trump could win. Now, continuing on that topic. So, voting irregularities. Trump has filed lawsuits, right, against Georgia and some other states, and in all likelihood, there most likely will be a recount. I think that's fair enough. Going based off the weird patterns that we see here. Um, I have to be honest here. If this was Bernie, right, or I think he would have won already. But Biden, even if I was a Democrat, I just don't see how he's, you know, a good president, man. I mean, this guy's been here for 47 years, and the reality is most people voted for him just because they don't want Trump to win. Now, this is where the power of the media comes in, all right? The power of the media. Do you think it's fair that mainstream media favors one side? Shouldn't their job just be inform you of the facts? That's it. Because it's more clear than it ever has been before that one side is favored. Blatantly favored. Um, it's a disappointment. And to be fair, whether you believe it or not, if it was the other way around, if Trump was loved and Biden was hated so much, so strongly, I still wouldn't think it's fair. I think it should be unbiased news, but that's just not the world we live in, unfortunately. And to all of you that, completely just hate the other side, that's not okay. I don't think whether you're a Democrat, Republican, you should not hate the other side, man. That's not okay, man. Because at the end of the day, we all want what's best for this country. That's just facts. And to call one side a racist, uh, rape supporters, whatever the hell you call the other side, it's not okay. Because we're all Americans, man. We're all Americans here. We all want the same thing. It's just a disappointment to see so much hate and division. The best way I could sum up this election is division. And yeah, I'm young. I'm not fucking 50, 60. So I haven't lived through many elections. I've never seen so much division in this country in my life. So much division. There is no middle ground. Middle ground does not exist anymore. There is no middle ground. I rarely, and I mean rarely, see, a discussion on any social media platform saying, all right, let's agree to disagree. Never. Never. It's you're a fucking racist. Fuck you. That's all I see. That's all I see. And the other side, my side will be like, you're stupid. You're supporting a fucking idiot that has dementia, and you're a fucking retard. Excuse my language. I shouldn't say retard. You're a fucking dumbass. That's both sides, and that's not okay on either side, man. You let me tell you something. You'll never reach a middle ground, and you'll never get people to support what you support if you insult the other side. You'll never get support. Never. You will never gain support. There will never be peace if all you do is insult and look down upon your opponent or the other party. There'll never be peace, man. It's not okay. Fuck the election. Fuck all that, man. Be a nice person. You think you're so, either both sides, you should not think you're so self-righteous and so high and mighty that you have the right to insult and put down others. That's just not okay. It's so rampant. It's so sad to see, man. So sad. It's such a rampant thing. It's so sad. And I don't want to say one side does it more than the other. But it's just sad. Yeah, sometimes I take place in debates, but it's not even worth it. I'll just get called a piece of shit right away. Like, this is not a debate. There's no middle ground. There's no benefit to talking to the other side almost. We have to turn this around. Anyone watching, whether you're a Trump supporter, Biden supporter, Republican, Democrat, or neither, just be nice, man. If someone disagrees, hear their point of view, and hopefully they hear yours. Find middle ground. And if you disagree, you disagree. But don't put down the other person. At the end of the day, you're not doing no good. You're doing more harm than good. You're contributing to the division. The truth is, this country is in a very good place, realistically. Is there unfair things in this country? Yeah. Can we eliminate all unfairness and all inequality? No, it's not possible. But to go out and say that people are fucking racist because they don't agree with you is not okay. Clearly they're not. There's just a lot of double standards, a lot of division, and it's just very sad to see. Very, very sad to see. Just fuck politics, man. Just be a nice person. Speak politics, that's fine, but be a nice fucking person. There's no political debate occurring like 99% of the time. It's just insults. That's it. Trying to one up the other and then gain more praise from your tribe. Tribalism. That's the world we live in. It's funny how we're so modern, yet we're so stuck in this tribalistic mindset. It's hilarious. We still think like the fucking, Neanderthals that lived in fucking tribes. That's how we think. We want praise from our tribe. We want our tribe to be victorious. And to do that, we have to cut down the other. We're all one tribe, man. We're all one fucking tribe. Stop this, me and them mentality. Us and them. No, there's just one us. That's it. At the end of the day, we're all in this country. What difference will it make if we hate each other? What difference will it make except cause more division and bad animosity, this animosity towards each other? Do you feel good putting down someone else? Ask yourself that question. Do you feel good? Do you feel more self-entitled, self-righteous? A lot of pettiness, a lot of division. Now, to sum up here what I'm trying to say, I hope that the tribalism that is so rampant in this country finds a way. Let me restart that. To summarize what I'm trying to say, I hope that the tribalism in this country comes to an end, with specifically the youth. Well, actually, fuck it, the adults actually, coach the youth to stop being tribalistic and just love each other, man. At the end of the day, it's about peace and prosperity in this country. That's what Every side, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, wants every side of the political spectrum wants peace and prosperity. And yeah, we all have different, ideas on how to reach that goal, but we all want the same goal. You know, it's just so sad to see such division. So hopefully this country can come together. Hopefully social media and mainstream media outlets change for the better. You know, um, I know the world will never be perfect, but we could sure as hell make it better, especially the way it is now. This year has been one hell of a year with the pandemic, with riots and protests. It's just a dark year. It's a very dark year. Not a good way to start this decade, the 2020s. Let's just pray that, division and tribalism ends and that we can all have political discourse and reach a middle ground and move on with our fucking lives the next day without calling the other a piece of shit or a racist. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, guys, that's my little rant on the politics. It's not even about, the political talking points for me here. I'm just trying to hopefully make someone watching change their viewpoint on how to approach political discourse in social media or anywhere else in the world. So bizarre how tribalism is so rampant. All right, but moving on. Now this is funny. All right, Lil Wayne and Lil Pump are now Trump supporters. All right, Trump calls Lil Wayne, Lil Pump, Little Pimp. Now that's brilliant. All right, we gotta admit that's brilliant. That's hilarious. That's brilliant. Who would have thought Lil Pump would become a Trump supporter, right? Hey, fun time in politics, right? That's a little light at the end of the tunnel there for you. Whether you're a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter, come on, that's funny. That's funny. That's a little something funny that I found. Now I have a new thing, and I'm gonna do a couple of these. A random generator of topics. All right. I'm just gonna talk about whatever comes up. I'm gonna do like 2 or 3. I'm not gonna go too long. This thing's already an hour long. I don't want to go on too long. But let's see what happens. I actually want to do it with my good pals, Wildcat and Tommy AK701, but it's all good. We'll do it together also. But let's see what happens. First topic. All right. What's the best way to travel? Plane, car, I think boat. Best way to travel for me, I'd definitely like to be on land. I don't trust being in the sky or in the water. I know that I'm on land. I'm on a solid surface. I won't sink unless it's a fucking pothole or something. I won't sink. I won't crash down. The only way to crash is directly in front of you. Definitely like to travel by car. I know more car accidents happen way more than fucking drowning in a boat or a plane crash. But that's because of the sheer numbers of cars there are, right? But yeah, I'd definitely like to travel more by car. I think it's safer. I think it's funner. You could just see the scenery. I mean, in the plane too, but not as easily. If you're high in the sky and there's clouds everywhere, or in a fucking boat where you don't see shit if you're like really deep in the ocean. I mean, so yeah, car. That's one topic. I guess that was a very easy one to answer. Let's see. What do you think has the biggest impact on fashion trends? Is it actors and actresses, musicians, fashion designers, or consumers? That's a good question. It's not fashion designers, right? They just make the fashion. They follow the trend to make money, right? I mean, yeah, fashion designer could make a hell of a fucking, type of clothing, and it could become a trend, but that's more rare, in my opinion. Musicians, maybe shoes, like Drake with his OVOs, Travis Scott, Kanye West with his Yeezys. Actors and actresses. No, I think it's the consumers, man. I think whatever the consumers mostly buy will have the biggest impact because it'll be sold more, and more people will be like, oh shit, they're all wearing this. I want to try it. I want to wear it. So definitely consumers. Definitely consumers. I'll do Three or four more since these are so short. I thought it'd be like long ones. If I get a long one, then I'll shorten it up. If you could bring back one TV show that was canceled, which one would you bring back? Let's see here. There's a lot of good TV shows out there, right? One that was canceled. What canceled? I can't think of any. I'm just gonna skip it, man. I can't think of any TV shows. If you have any, let me know in the comments, man. I don't know any canceled TV shows that I'd want to bring back. I can't think of any canceled TV show. Who are the three greatest athletes of all time? Damn, that's a good question. The best athletes ever. Let's see here. Best athletes ever. All right. Bo Jackson. Motherfucker was an all-star, I think, in the major leagues, and a Pro Bowler. So definitely, he's one of them, man. Him. Who else? Best athlete. I'm trying to think of all the sports here. Think. Wayne Gretzky? I don't know. He was a monster in hockey. I don't watch hockey, but I knew he was insanely successful. And then there's a toss-up between Michael Jordan and LeBron. Fuck it. Serena Williams. Serena Williams is, I mean, who else besides Serena Williams in tennis can you say is above her? I don't know. That's just me. So Wayne Gretzky, Bo Jackson, and Serena Williams. Pure dominance. Pure dominance. I just answered this question. Will technology save the human race or destroy it? Damn, that's a good question. I think eventually it'll destroy it, not in the sense of, literally physically destroying it with all of us dying, but I think it will destroy it in another sense. It will destroy it in the sense that society is so far gone, that it's human race isn't what it is, what it's supposed to be. And I think the human race should be a place where there's independent thought, there's free discourse, organic growth, meaning like people earn their way. I think technology will eventually make too many shortcuts, and I think it will just cause chaos, and selfishness will be rampant. That's what I think. I think it will destroy the human race. Two more. There's a lot of stupid ones that I don't want to do. What is the worst restaurant you have ever eaten at? The worst restaurant I've ever eaten at. Have I ever eaten at a bad restaurant? Oh, I know where. Church's Chicken. That shit was disgusting. And I'm not trying to hate on Church's Chicken, but goddamn, what the fuck? It was disgusting. The chicken was disgusting. I'll never eat there again in my fucking life. One more. Where is the most relaxing place you have been? Actually, in the city of IB here, where I'm currently residing in, I went to the end of the beach. I'm sure if you guys are from IB, you know what I'm talking about, the Tijuana estuary. If you go to the very end, there's like a seat there, completely isolated from fucking society. Just sit there and watch the scenery. It's insanely relaxing. Best place ever. I know I said one more, but one more. This is truly the last one. Truly. These are actually kind of fun to do. What is the most annoying habit someone can have? Good question. The most annoying habit. What's annoying as shit to me personally? Let me think for a second here. If I take too long, I'm just gonna change the question. Most annoying habit. Maybe. Is being selfish a habit? I think it can be, right? You have the habit of putting yourself first, wanting something first. Uh, that's the worst habit. You know, that's the worst habit. But yeah, guys, that's the random generator. It would have been way funner if I had my guest here, but hey, a series of unfortunate events occurred. So on the next one, hopefully, I have my pals here, and maybe a special guest or two. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up. But before I end it, I haven't done this in a while. I'll just give you some words of advice here. All right, especially for the young ones out there, especially because of COVID and all the time on our hands. I know there's a lot of time on our hands, and I know that a lot of thoughts have been running through all our minds. Being stuck at home, only going from work to home, from home to work, vice versa, vice versa. Now, some advice for you out there, especially that you guys that are young and you guys that have a lot of time on your hands. If you don't know what you want to do yet, don't be scared to take risks. All right, don't be scared to take risks, because only you can see what talent you have. I heard a great quote from Luke Thomas today. Most people have horrible talent recognition. That's what he said. And I think he's dead on. I think people in places of power, for the most part, have horrible talent recognition. They see you once, like, oh, this guy fucking sucks. And that guy might be brilliant. They don't even know it. So only you can know what you're good at and what you can continuously, obsessively become better at. Maybe you're in the wrong avenue right now. Maybe you're doing the wrong thing, the wrong major, whatever, and it's not working. You got to be comfortable enough with yourself to quit that and go to a different avenue. You got to be willing, be obsessive, be relentless, but don't be unrealistic. Let's say you're in a spot where you're just constantly failing, and it's just clear as day to you that you're not good at this. Change it up. Change your ambitions. I know some people have goals, including myself, that are so, important to them that they don't want to give up. If you find something else, man, that you're good at and that you like, it's tunnel fucking vision. Work at it, and I guarantee you'll see a difference. Don't let someone tell you you're not good at something, all right? Only you can determine that after months and years of hard work and dedication. Only you will know that. No one else can. And it's no one else's job to give you approval. Don't look for approval. That shouldn't be your job. Your job should be to see results. That's what's important. That's something, no matter what people say to you, they can't take away from you. Results are concrete. They're concrete and they're undisputable because the results are there. They're right there. So focus on your craft. Don't look for approval. Look for results. That's how you become successful. And furthermore, in your life, especially when you're young, look for a balance between relationships and your craft. Now, the truth is, to be successful, your craft is going to take much more time. But let me tell you something. When you're in those fun moments, right? Those fun moments when you're with family, with friends, having a good time, hanging out on the weekend, cherish those. Be in the moment. Don't think about the next day. Don't think about the next goal. Cherish those. Relax. Relaxation is fucking key, man. I'm telling you. I'm not saying fucking party all goddamn day. I'm saying relax on the weekend, once a week, something like that. But cherish those and use those to the best of your ability. I'm telling you. You keep a balance, shit goes smoothly, man. And I'm not saying things will go perfectly, because they won't. Especially when you're trying to, be successful at something that's difficult. Shit, you will fall on your fucking face. You will fail. It's going to happen. But let those be lessons to you. Let them build your character. Never be satisfied. As a man, well, I'm not a man yet, but as a young man, I think the worst thing to do for a man, and I guess I could say for women, I can't speak for women specifically, is to be comfortable. Don't be comfortable. Constantly improve, constantly evolve. As a man, as a woman too. if you have that mindset, and keep moving forward, keep moving forward, and your life will change. I'm telling you. So in this time of COVID, focus. Fuck if she likes you. Fuck if he likes you. Fuck it. Fuck that shit. It's not important. What's important is moving forward. That's important. That's what's going to get you to the top. That's what's going to get you to where you want to be. And when it comes to relationships, it's a different kind of grind. You got to be more empathetic because it's another person, right? But the same logic applies. You got to grind in a relationship. You got to put in time. You got to put in effort. You got to build trust. You got to build this and that. You got to build those connections. You stop grinding in that. If you stop grinding in that, a decent person will detach themselves from you, and you'll lose that person. Whether it's a significant other, your friend, your dad, it's harder for close relatives to leave, like a mom or a dad, because they're your parents. But specifically, like your friends and your significant other, if you have one, or maybe you have someone you like, you got to grind at it. Put in time and build that connection, and keep it there. Because it will be valuable, whether it's emotional support they give you, literal advice in your field, maybe they're in the same field as you, whatever it is. And don't put yourself first. I'm telling you right now. Put your craft first, before everything, obviously besides your family and your real friends and your significant other. But be calculated. Live life with some drive, man, with some fucking drive. With a goal. Be goal-oriented, man. Just keep moving forward. All right. But that's my little rant, my little piece of advice that I tried to give to the best of my ability. But yeah, guys, that's the podcast. I'm sorry I didn't have guests on. If you watch this whole thing, I greatly appreciate it. If you could show some love by hitting that like, sub, and bell button, I greatly appreciate it as well. I love all of you. If you have anything we want to talk about, let me know in the comments. I want to definitely get my pals back on and definitely try this random generator shit with them. But it's going to wrap it up, man. I love you all. This is Jay Thy Great with episode 18. I'm going to catch you in the next podcast or video. Peace.